Hello my lovelies, and welcome to the channel. This week the stars absolutely aligned. One of my best friends and I had no sick children home off school this week, and so we decided to make use of the time and have a catch up. What better way to have a catch up over a cup of herbal tea and some lunch? I really enjoy creating bespoke tea blends when people come over. Just deciding what you think people need and the flavour profiles that they like. And I think I hit this nail on the head. My friend described this as a stroll down the summer's lane full of promise with the heady scent of meadowsweet. And yeah, it delivered. It really did. So after we'd started setting the world to rights over a cup of tea, it was time to start making lunch. Now, I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to make. I had to think on my feet and come up with something very quickly. We had been to the market before we got back to my house. There's a market in Ramelton every Thursday with a wonderful fruit and veg man. So I had lots of lovely fresh produce. So I was looking in the box and in the fridge and the freezer to see what I had. And this is the dish that I came up with. I didn't want anything overly heavy or that was going to take very long to make. And I wanted it to be really flavourful. That's really quite important to me, is that it tastes good and it's full of flavour. Bland food does not excite me in the slightest. And especially when I'm making something for someone else, it's one of the ways that I show love for people is through food. So I want to make sure that I am doing my level best to make something that is delicious. I have started by chopping up some cherry tomatoes, and I'm also chopping up a small onion here. And these, on their own, they are just a match made in heaven anyway. Now, I didn't have any fresh mango, so I quickly took some frozen mango out the freezer and just let it sit for about 15 minutes, and it was defrosted enough to use. It's a really handy thing to have is frozen fruit. Next up, I'm going in with avocado. Now, I'll let you in on a little secret. I didn't like avocado for the longest time. It wasn't until I was pregnant with Cora, my third child, that I started having cravings for it through my pregnancy. And ever since I have absolutely loved avocado. Getting one that is just perfectly ripe, that's a whole other matter, but we did not too bad today. So I am cutting this avocado up just into little cubes. Everything in here is bite size. I don't want anything to be too big. It just needs to all be roughly the same size. And I think I'm going to go in for a whole avocado because there is two of us. So, it gives a really lovely creamy texture as well. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about avocado that lends itself really well to these types of dishes. And we'll scoop that out as well in there. I don't know, are you team avocado or not? There's two definite camps there. Now, to stop the avocado going brown, I am going to squeeze some lime juice over the top there. And I love lime juice anyway. I would put it with quite a lot of things. I haven't recently, but I'm getting back into using it more because I just find it lifts food so much. I'm also going in with a sprinkle of sea salt, just to bring the flavour out. Now, this one is controversial. Coriander. Do you love it or do you hate it? I love it. Didn't realise at the time that my friend was one of those people who finds it quite soapy tasting. Thankfully though, she said it worked in the dish and she didn't notice it as much as she would normally. So that was a bit of a faux pas on my part. I should have double checked, but it really did work in this dish. So I'm just giving it a rough chop because you don't want great big bits of it. It needs to be evenly dispersed. And I'm gonna lift out some of the bigger stalks there because they're really full of flavour and lovely, but in something like this you don't want too many big bits of stem in there. It can just get a bit much. So we're going to give this all a mix and bring it together, and it's already looking beautiful and colourful, and food like this just makes me happy. I don't know, does it make you happy? So for the protein, I'm going in with some king prawns. I've pulled these out the freezer and quickly defrosted them. I managed to get a really big bag of them for a good price in Lidl a couple of months ago in the freezer section, and I've been waiting to use them, so this is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to go in with that other half of the lime now, just to really lift that flavour. Like I said before, it's just a happy flavour for me. And to dress it, I'm going in with some mayonnaise, just to add to that creaminess and to bring it all together. You could use olive oil if you wanted to, but I think that mayonnaise is the right thing for it. And I'll just stir that all through, making sure that everything's coated and all the flavours are amalgamating beautifully. Now it's time to plate up. And like I said, I didn't want this to be a heavy dish, so I'm going to serve this in lettuce cups. So I'm just taking the lettuce leaves off a little gem lettuce, and these are going to be perfect just to create that little mouthful, or 2 bites really is what it equates to. And food like this with friends, you can serve it up on a shared platter like I am, or you can do individual plates, but it lends itself to food for sharing. And this is what I love to do. I don't eat food like this often enough, and I really as we go into spring and summer, I want to start eating more like this. It's colourful, it's vibrant, it's flavourful, and it's just joyous. Food is a celebration. I know some people just see it as fuel, but it really is a celebration, and we should be having that celebration every time we eat. We eat with our eyes, and so we should be making it beautiful and just celebrating putting that nourishment into our bodies. I'm trying to be a lot more mindful about what I am eating at the moment and making some better choices and just doing what I need to do to be a bit healthier. So things like this, I think, are going to be on the menu a lot more, and maybe my kids won't be on board with it, but I know David certainly will. And it's just beautiful for when you have friends over. So there we are, all plated up and ready to eat. Doesn't that just look amazing? I'm smiling just thinking about eating this all over again. Do you enjoy food like this? I would love to know. We were also able to get a pile of burgers made this past week, and it's absolutely fabulous to have them. We defrosted 10 kilos of venison trim and 2 kilos of pork fat, and you can see that kind of mixed through in the tub there. We ended up dividing this into 2 batches just because it's much easier to put through the mincer and mix it all up. You can see it's really going through that mixer quickly. I know I've said it before, but investing in the right equipment really does make life so much easier. This is a semi-industrial mincer, and it just flies through, mincing the meat. Now, next up, what we're doing is we are putting in the burger mix. We get this from Scobie's Direct, and this is the Scottish onion burger mix. So we divided a kilo bag in half because this is half the venison and pork fat mixture. And we're just going to mix, well, I say we, the royal me, David, the burger maker extraordinaire, the Burgermeister, he is mixing that. So you sprinkle a bit in and then add water to it. It's quite important that you add the water because the mix really does, it binds it together, but it really dries it out. So you have to add that liquid in there and really ensure that you get that burger mix thoroughly mixed through. Commercial butchers, they would have a machine that tumbles all this. They'd weigh it all out and it would just mix for a set amount of time and, Bob's your uncle. But we don't, we're not that large scale in operation, so it's a hand mixed job. And David does a very, very good job, I have to say. There's never any lumps of burger seasoning. It's all very, very well mixed through. So we're just putting the last bit in, and some more water will go in there too once that has started to be mixed in. And we're at the stage now where we can kind of feel the mixture and see if it needs any more. Sometimes the ratios that they give you on the website can be a little bit out, and you just have to judge the mixture each time that you make it. But I will say that all the mixes that come from Scobie's Direct are very, very good. They're perfectly balanced. Some of them aren't to our taste, and that's absolutely fine. We found the ones that really work well for us and that we like, and we just stick with them. And every now and again, we try a different one because, it's always good to try different things. If you're looking to get any kind of kitchen equipment like Victorinox knives, things like that, I recommend, if you're in the UK or Ireland, go and have a look on that website because there's tons of equipment there. If you're looking to get into doing sort of homesteady type things, making your own, the kitchen equipment, it's all quite reasonably priced and the delivery is usually very, very quick, and they're very helpful. So I can't recommend them enough. Now that it's been mixed through, it goes through the mincer again just to make sure that it is equally mixed, and you'll see the change in colour. Well, actually, I don't know if you can, but certainly the texture's changed and the colour has changed because you've got that burger mix in there. There's the rusk and everything, and it just brings it all together. You could skip this step if you wanted to, but we find that it really is important to put it through the mincer again. And just look at that. I could watch meat coming out the mincer all day. Yes, I know I'm strange, but I find it strangely satisfying. I've turned the sound off purposefully because it is quite noisy and it grates on some people's nerves, but I quite enjoy it. Now comes the fun part, making the actual burgers. So we have a proper burger press, and I'm using these cellophane burger papers. It just keeps them separated, so it makes it easier to divide them up. And I think it's like quarter pounder style burger. So we weigh it out anywhere between 135 and 140 grams. Now you can get lots of different styles of burger presses. This is a really, really good one and it works well for us. It is more on the expensive side. It was about €50, but well worth it. It just makes our life so much easier. And the burgers are pretty much all uniform. It makes my life easier. Yes, I know I have a lot of kitchen gadgets, but they do all serve a purpose for the most part. And this is one of those things that I am denied about investing in. And I should have just done it a lot sooner, as soon as we had it, because we'd borrowed ones off of a friend. And we're like, wow, this is really cool. And hummed and hawed about buying one. And then we just went, no, we're going to do it. And I'm so glad that we did, because it speeds the whole process up. It really does. You can see how quickly we're going. Now we freeze these in stacks of 6 because we're a family of 6. And you know, it just makes sense for us to do it. But if you're a family of 4, you could do it in a pack of 4, or you know, whatever size you want to. We find that if we're going to give any away, we tend to do it in packs of 4, unless we know it's a large family, just because there's a lot of work that goes into making these. People don't quite realise that. You know, that they can be quite quick to go, oh yeah, I'll take some, but they don't realise the amount of time and effort that goes into making the burgers. So these have been in the freezer on trays just to firm up before I bag them up. This is quite an important step, because otherwise they get a bit misshapen in the bagging up process. So trying to make sure that the freezer's level, or there's an empty space in the upright freezer, you know, it can be a bit of a faff, but it's well worth doing, and it just makes sure that the burgers are going to stay that nice uniform shape. So obviously you have to be a wee bit rough when you are sealing them up with a bag sealer, but you know, I'm beyond delighted. We ended up getting, what was it? 17 stacks of 6 plus 2 left over. So we ended up making 104 burgers, and I think that's pretty good going. You know, that's a lot of dinners, and we're absolutely so happy. You know, now that Cora's decided that she likes burgers, this is something that she requests, so it's something that I know, again, what's gone into it, and we've made it, and it's there ready for us to pull out. We can cook these from frozen, which is really, really handy. Now I sometimes bake them in the oven, just because having multiple frying pans on the go is a faff when I don't have gas for the barbecue, which reminds me, I need to get some more gas for the barbecue. Yeah, I need more barbecue in my life. I'm always a happy girl when there's barbecuing going on or cooking over the open fire. So I'm hoping to do a lot more of that this year. I didn't get enough of it done last year, just with the weather being so abysmal. Yeah, I want to try lots of experiments cooking over open fire. I don't know, do you guys enjoy cooking over the open fire? Do you enjoy barbecues, or are you not a big fan of it? I would love to know what you guys think. But yeah, I'm really, really chuffed with this. This makes my heart sing, having this ready. Do you remember last week when we planted those chili seeds together? Well, let's have a look. To my absolute shock and amazement, a week has passed, and look at the seedlings that have come through. Like, this never happens. It's usually a good month before they start poking through. I don't know if it's the heat mat, I don't know if it's that we soaked them or that soaking it in the chamomile tea, but look, seedlings. It's amazing. I am so happy to see these. It is just amazing. To have these seedlings come up so quickly means that they're going to have the best chance of growing strong and being ready to produce lots of lovely chilies for us to use and for them to be harvestable. Now quickly over here we have some blueberry cuttings that are hopefully starting to take root. I'm really looking forward to these, and I hope to goodness that they work. So we will keep an eye on these over the coming weeks and see how we get on. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and until next time, my lovelies, take care.